on it. Maybe it's a record of something.
Let me take a look. If this really is a merchant caravan, they should have a record of their transactions. Yep. I see an entry for Dakana Lakmar right here. Kusela, Idrisi, Bashar, and Takriti. All familiar names. Dakana Lakmar has been trading for a hefty supply of food, weapons, and medicine. It seems that in the past, they used to receive some canned knowledge as well. This caravan is just one link in their logistics chain. Once in the rainforest, the caravan will exchange the looted goods for Mora, and the funds will then be passed to a specific person. That person will then pack the caravan full of necessary goods, which will then be brought right back to Dakana Lakmar. Wait, why is there no Mora value recorded for the final transaction?
No value?
Yeah, every transaction before the last one was marked with an exact amount of Mora, but the final one, where they paid for everything to be brought back to the desert, was simply marked as delivered. Perhaps. But they couldn't have known how much they would make off selling the loot. Do they not care about profit margins at all? Anyway, the next part's the records of the goods themselves. There are a lot of entries. Everything was probably sourced from the rainforest. Huh?
What's wrong?
Shahzaman Homayani?
Homayani? You mean Dunyarzad's family? Could it just be another family with the same last name?
I'd be surprised to find someone with the exact same first and last name. Shahzaman Homayani is Dunyarzad's father, and the head of the Homayani family. Just what the heck is going on here? I'm sorry, you're right. I'll consider what we found and not jump to conclusions just yet. But what this piece of paper confirms is that the Homayani family has been providing goods to Dakana Lakmar.
What if the Homayanis have been kept in the dark and don't know they've been trading with Dakana Lakmar?
That's a possibility, but if that was the case, why is this caravan specifically named Shahzaman as their person of contact? They could have just as easily bought goods such as food and medicine directly from Caravan Ribat or Port Ormos. Yeah, funding violence and looting. The brigade gets the goods, and he is paid the proceeds from the sale of the loot.
But why would he do something like this? It's not like the Homayanis are in need of money.
I honestly have no idea. I've been to their estate many times, and I've never noticed anything suspicious. The only potentially large expenditure I could think of would be the treatment costs for Dunyarzad's Elazar. Maybe they borrowed a lot of Mora in the past? But that's still just a speculation. I don't think the Master would stoop so low to make Mora. You're probably right. I know my lady's personality, and she wouldn't deliberately keep something like this from us.
But what should we do now? All we found is just another mystery.
If you ask me, we already have no choice but to confront her about this. I'm not worried. It's too early to make a verdict yet. I still have faith in the Homayanis. Let's go find my lady again. We'll tell her everything and see if she's willing to lend us her support. If we're lucky, we can not only figure out the mystery of this paper, but also follow the trail of breadcrumbs to the people responsible at Dakana Lakmar.
Dia, are you sure this is the best decision? What if instead of getting the help we need, we just end up revealing everything we've discovered to the enemy?
I've considered that possibility. But even still, I want to tell her what we found. I think I owe her that much. She showed genuine concern for me when we first brought up the topic. I can't repay her kindness with doubt and suspicion. That's not how I deal with people.
You're right. Paimon wants to trust Dunyarzad too.
Yeah. Let's pay another visit to Sumeru City.
Take it easy.
We're back, my lady.
Oh, you're back a lot sooner than I expected. You mustn't have run into any trouble then. Well, how did it go? What did you come up with?
Actually, we're still investigating. It's just that we've discovered something strange.
I see. The clues you found have led you back here, in the city?
Something like that. Yeah.
You all look a little dispirited. Whatever you found must not have been very encouraging after all. Why don't you discuss it with me? Maybe I'll be able to say something to cheer you up?
It's okay, my lady. It's not so much about me being upset with my father or anything like that. How should I put this?
So something is wrong. Even the Traveler and Paimon have been uncharacteristically quiet. On any other day, Paimon would have already waved to me with a smile and shouted, "Dunyarzad, we're back!" So tell me, what happened?
Well?
My lady, please prepare yourself for what we're going to tell you next. It concerns the Master.
The Master? Okay, I understand. Don't worry about me. My father has been supplying goods to Dakan al-Akmar?
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does to you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them. Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
I can't help but agree with the Traveler.
Huh? You mean you feel the same way, Dunyarzad?
Thank you for sharing all this information with me. Since you've told me everything you know, I should also tell you about some doubts that I've been harboring in the past. I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me so that I wouldn't run away and get lost. However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way?
About that. Well, the Homayanis really needed bodyguards, so they reached out to the Blazing Beasts. Later, the Master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around because he offered me a pile of Mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. Just think about it. Why did my father...
Maybe the Corps of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe someone recommended us. I've never given it too much thought. I think I get what you're saying. You'd think none of this was a coincidence.
Precisely. At first glance, nothing seems strange or out of place. But there are many parts of the story that don't actually make any sense. If my father had always been in contact with Dakan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dia into our house.
You mean the goal all along was to get Dia to be your bodyguard?
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a long time ago. He has no control over my life anymore.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life without you knowing.
So, the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
Sorry we put all this on you so suddenly, Dunyarzad.
It's okay, Paimon. I should actually be thanking you. Regardless of his reasons, if my father has truly been funding a violent group of mercenaries, then it's my duty to bring him back to reason.
But is that really the right thing to do? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. You may call... However, the Homayani family has treated me with nothing but generosity and kindness. If we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire Homayani family. I would be biting the hand that's fed me over all these years.
Tia.
It's all right, Dia. If anyone were to ask, you could always just say that I'm the one who instructed you to get to the bottom of this.
You don't have to do that, my lady. I'm not conflicted because I'm afraid of taking responsibility. Besides, you're the one we should all be worried about right now.
Hey, it's still too early to give up hope. What was the thing about friendship again? Right, yeah, trust! You said that yourself, Dia. Besides, there's no point on getting all riled up before we've confirmed all the facts.
Thank you, everyone. That makes a lot of sense. In which case, my lady, could you ask the Master to come out and have a chat?
Sure thing. I also hope he'll be able to give us a logical explanation. Let's meet at the usual...
Usual place? Ah!
Thank you for coming, sir. Please allow me to introduce these two. This is the Traveler, and next to him is his travel companion, Paimon.
Yes, my daughter has mentioned them from time to time. It's a privilege to finally meet them in person. But we may skip all the pleasantries for now. What is the important matter you wish to discuss with me today?
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something on this record that we're all pretty curious about.
So, that's what you found? Huh. Seems like I can't keep everything.
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. What I do know, though, Dia, is that the truth will bring you no solace. If anything, it will...
Wait.
Yes. I understand perfectly why you came to see me. And I am touched by your collective commitment to do the right thing. But knowledge always comes at a price. And sometimes, as they say, your father Kusela and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but I must warn you. The facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind. If you must proceed, then Kusela's heartfelt efforts will also fade into the wind like a fleeting mirage.
His heartfelt efforts? I'm sorry, sir, but I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people and causes that I've chosen to cherish and fight for. None of these things have anything to do with him. I came here today to support you as the head of the Homayani family. No warning will change my stance on that.
I understand. Then let me... Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when Dunyarzad was just a baby. Along the way, we were attacked, but they had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. When all seemed lost, a group of passerby Eremites lent us their support. Those Eremites were Kusela's brigade, Dekan al-Ahmar. Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. I was shocked. Why would Dekan al-Ahmar? Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyazad. She was startled by his unfamiliar face and nearly started crying.
Really? I never knew.
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took pity on us because he had a daughter about the same age. We started talking about our children, and I sensed that he was a devoted father. To repay his kindness, I hired his brigade to help out at our estate for a time and offered everyone generous remuneration.
So, that's what happened.
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door. The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of himself. He couldn't even walk anymore without his cane.
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change was his cheery disposition. He said there was absolutely nothing to worry about and that he had gotten into a fight. That was all. He then suddenly asked me if Dunyazad, now that she had grown, would need a bodyguard of her own. At the time, Dunyazad was going through a particularly severe bout of her Elazar. There was no need for her to have a bodyguard when she could barely leave the house. But he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, it never hurts to be safe. How do you know a bodyguard won't come in handy one day? I was completely lost at first, until he recommended the Blazing Beasts, and in particular, a mercenary named Dia.
So he was the one who recommended Dia to you.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's relics as an evil group who would eventually corrupt every member in their ranks. He was already beyond redemption, but he hoped that he would be able to detach his daughter from the vicious world of mercenary life. If Dia could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard, then gradually her affinity for the desert would decrease, and she'd be able to leave her.
And that's why you offered her such generous compensation?
Yes, but not just because of that. From the moment that he asked me for that favor, I also began to see Dia as my own daughter. And that's also why I tried to persuade you to stay when you asked for permission to leave. I was willing to spend however much it took. Kusela saved my daughter and I all those years ago in the desert. I could never refuse him entrusting his daughter to me.
He was always like that, acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dia's fees. I refused to take any mora from him, but he'd always sent me funds anyway. Eventually, I just accepted them as a token of his gratitude. And that went on for a while until I received another letter from him a few years ago. The letter contained a request to help him buy food, weapons, medicine, and...
Wait! Isn't that around the time that Dekan al-Ahmar started becoming more aggressive?
That's right. When I started to hear some nasty rumors, I became wary. I wanted to meet him face to face, but by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. If I had to guess, It's probably because he doesn't want to put Dia at risk. That thought occurred to me as well. I figured that he probably came to me after some deliberation. I decided to send him some food and medicine. I turned down all his requests. I am aware that even such a reduced gesture of support could lead to others coming to harm, but in the end, it probably was the wrong decision. I plugged my ears to the rumors and just chose a solution that made me feel...
If you can, please tell me where he is now. None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep me from getting tangled up in his world. If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world in the first place.
Oh no. Dia, please...
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions. Another way? I don't know. I knew him, and he was nothing more than a childish brute. I can't understand what's going through his head. But I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need to figure out his exact actions and reasoning for these last few years.
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between the two of you would need to be resolved between you and him alone. I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts. Outside of supplying his brigade with some goods, I tried my best to avoid getting involved any further with him. However, there's a man on the list named Jawed. He used to be a mercenary in the desert and is now a member of the Corps of 30. He's responsible for supplying weapons and liaising with the Dakan al-Akhmar's merchant caravan. I think he should know Kusela's whereabouts. I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy the cool wind at night outside the tavern. Maybe you'll be able to find him there.
Understood. Thank you, sir. Then
I'll stay and be with my father here. To be honest, I'm still a little dazed and haven't finished processing everything quite. My father has indeed done something wrong, but if I think about it, I'm also not sure if there was a right way to handle this problem. I feel like our only course of action is to turn everything we know over to the Corps of 30 and let them render judgment.
Yes. I am prepared to accept. It's time to face my mistakes.
Huh? Who are you guys?
I know what you've been up to. Smuggling weapons to violent brigades in the desert while working for the Corps? Pretty bold, if you ask me.
Shh! Keep your voice down. How do you know all that? Come with me. We should take this elsewhere. I'll be happy to talk things over once we're somewhere private. This place should do. All right. Back to my question.
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once we report you to the Corps, I assume.
Wait. There's no need to jump the gun. Let's talk this out. What are your terms?
So what's in it for you anyway, Mora?
Well, I was a little tight on money at the time, and Kusela took good care of me in the past. I weighed it in my mind, and I couldn't find a reason to turn the opportunity down. I wouldn't only be helping my benefactor, but I could also make some quick Mora.
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Dakana Lakmar, and we're gonna put an end to their operations. If you provide some help for us, then we might just put in a good word later to reduce—
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little first? Listen, I made quite a bit of Mora from my last run. You just give me a number, and I'm sure we can—
Shut it. My patience is running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something other than money.
All right, sheesh. But you gotta promise you'll put in some nice words for me later. They're always on the move. Here's the spot they were at the last time I made my delivery to the desert. Feel free to go have a look. I'm just telling you though, it's not on me if they're not there anymore.
Sure. And then you can forget about any nice words from us.
Hey, come on. Now you're just being
Really? And how do I know you're not leading us straight into a trap? Don't forget, you're the one with no bargaining chips.
All right, I get it. Why don't you go take a look, and if they're not there anymore, I'll try to figure out something else for y'all.
Now that's more like it. Let's move. And as for you, try to stick around the city until we get back. You don't want us to call the folks from the Corps and have them drag you back to the city.
Don't worry. I'm not going.
Seems like we're in luck. That should be their camp right up ahead. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves. I'm here to see Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
Tia, why are you here?
Look alive! Gotcha! Let's get it on! Take that! Buckle up! Haven't you all done enough?
Oh, so are you also here to stop us?
Stay out of this. It's got nothing to do with you.
Take that! Let's get it on! Gotcha! Buckle up! Gloves off!
She's so strong!
Enough fighting. We all know each other, and I don't want to take things too far. Just bring Kusela to me. There's no use hiding him anymore. Did you understand a single word I just said? Or do I need to bash your skull in some more?
All right, everyone, let's all just calm down for a second. Dia, the boss can't come out and see you anymore. He died a long time ago.
What?
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while. Guess that's for the best, though. At least, that's what the old man wanted.
When did he die? What happened to him?
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakan al-Ahmar and went to the Deshret's Relics headquarters by himself.
So is that when you guys started acting up?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in Deshret's Relics must pay in blood for what they did.
Let me start from the beginning. Dia, do you know how the head of the Relics maintained order internally?
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. But just those on their own weren't enough. They had another tool at their disposal. They called it a person's record. Regardless of whether they joined by their own will or were coerced, every person in Deshret's Relics were forced to leave a record of themselves at headquarters. Whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit, the record served both as a symbol of loyalty and the perfect material for blackmail. That's precisely it. Every one of us have a record. Me, Bashar, Tikriti, and all the boys who grew up with Dia and ended up joining. But you, Dia, you were never asked to provide a record, were you?
I never even knew this was a requirement.
You were probably the only person in all of Deshret's Relics who didn't know about it.
Ever since you were born, Boss had been trying to shield you from this organization's sinister rules. Not only that, but he also banned all of us from committing any nefarious acts. He said he'd take care of the dues we had to pay regularly to headquarters. But in the end, he was just an ordinary person. What could he do? He was forced to go to headquarters again and again to account for missed dues and incomplete records. He'd come up with all kinds of excuses and get beaten up as a result.
We all knew he was doing that for you. He wanted to get you out of this world, no matter what it took.
And that's why he became a shell of himself and couldn't walk without a cane.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. I didn't know about any of this, and I'd never seen him get injured or beaten.
Because you were too young at the time. How would you ever tell between wounds from a beating and wounds from battle? When you left home after that final argument with him, he seemed to age by a decade overnight. Even his hair went gray.
So, even the blazing beasts were...
Yep. It was all his doing. Had he not arranged them to come to you, you probably would have been reduced to a pulp before you ever left the desert.
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make another trip to headquarters. He was already pretty weak then, and we all assumed he was going to get beaten again. I suggested that he hand the role of leadership over to me, but he said there was no longer any need, since the Khan al-Ahmar would soon be no more. His words made no sense to me, but that night, we heard that a massive fire tore through headquarters and razed everyone's records to ash.
Everyone gained their freedom that night. Many members fled, not just from our ranks, but from the other brigades as well. But how could we leave with a clear conscience? All of us who knew exactly what had happened.
The boss can't have just died for nothing. Those heartless jerks at headquarters took him from us.
From that point on, the sole purpose of Dakan al-Ahmar became revenge. The big fire that boss started was quite a blow to headquarters' strength. It's given us the opportunity to launch our attack. Even though we're outnumbered, we vowed to see our revenge through to the very end. There were people from headquarters who changed their names and went into hiding. Some fled to other brigades, and others escaped to the rainforest. But we won't let any of them escape our wrath. They'll all pay for what they've done.
We've suffered plenty of losses as well. To keep going, we need an enormous amount of supplies, from food and medicine to weaponry and explosives. All we can do is exchange our loot from Mora, and then use that to get supplies. We forged Boss's handwriting and sent out many letters to his former friends. Thankfully, many people were willing to come to our aid. We were also able to attract many mercenaries who shared our goal. We've endured unspeakable pain to win many impossible battles. Deshret's relics have become weaker and weaker, and now we finally have an opportunity to directly strike their headquarters.
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners from the very beginning. We do not deserve the freedom that the boss won for us with his life. Boss always loved his old-fashioned hero stories. Those tales about sacrificing yourself to save the world. We used to always laugh at him for it. But in the end, he really went and lived those stories out himself. As for me, I never considered myself a hero. We're all the lowest of the low. We have no right to even imagine such an existence. But maybe those hero stories he liked foreshadowed everything that was to come. The spirit of the hero touched all those he had saved, and more people joined his cause. Maybe we were all just acting along with the play in the beginning. But as we acted the parts and recited the lines, we were drawn in. And now, we want to see the story through to the end. I'm sorry, Dia. I know you always found us insufferable ever since you were young. Just think of this as a madman ranting.
I'll go with you.
Huh? Dia? You wanna go with them?
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just that some situations get so bad that it's difficult to tell good from evil. All I know is that Deshret's relics must be destroyed. Furthermore, I want to go see the place for myself. I want to know if my father is still there. I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
Yeah, Paimon feels like we'd only regret it if we don't see this through to the end.
Thank you. We'll be a lot stronger together with you.
I bet Boss would lose his mind if he ever knew you'd join us at the very last moment like this.
Considering all the losses and injuries we sustained, we can't afford to turn down someone as powerful as you.
He can think whatever he wants. But the fact is, I owe him this much.
Are we getting close? Which way should we go now?
We just need to head a short way towards the desert. It's not far.
I would recommend taking a bodyguard to protect you. If the customer does turn out to be rotten, you can let the bodyguard deal with them.
Good point. A bodyguard. Oh, look! Isn't that Sino? Sino!
Good to see you. Headed to Caravan Rebot?
Remember, Paimon? We can't just disclose the customer's information.
Huh? Oh, don't worry. This is Sumeru's General Mahamatra, Sino. He's the leader of the Matra and always takes criminal activity very seriously.
Wow, how do you know so many powerful people?
You better get used to it, Kirara. You wouldn't believe the people I've met since I started traveling with them.
Do you have some time now, Sino? Or do you need to go participate in the Genius Invocation Tournament?
Tournament? The tournament has already finished.
Really? Then how did you do, Sino?
I am now the official king of invocations. I used Forbidden Hand at the opportune moment and drew... I can explain it later. Anyway, I have time.
Great. Let Paimon catch you up on what's happening. Paimon's parched now. How many times is Paimon gonna have to explain everything?
I can accompany you. As Paimon said, it's my duty to uphold the rules and punish evil.
What do you think, Kirara?
All right. But remember, you all should hide while I'm delivering the parcel. I know that this customer is suspicious, but they're still my customer until we have any concrete proof otherwise.
Okay, we'll go hide.
But if we're too far away, we won't be able to hear anything you're saying. How will we know if you're in trouble?
Not a problem. You can just watch my tails.
Your tails? You mean both of them?
Of course, both of them. I'll come up with a way to have the customer confirm the contents of the package. If they turn out to be just an ordinary customer and the package doesn't contain the card backs, then I'll lower both of my tails. That'll mean you can just stay hidden. But if they turn out to be the thieves we're after, then I'll...
Lay down.
Huh? Why would she do that?
It'd be a signal that we need to lay down the law.
Oh.
No way! I'm not getting on the ground! That would be way too embarrassing! Besides, don't you think that would look suspicious?
You think so? Then maybe you can use your tails to pound your back.
Oh, and why would she do that?
Simple. It'd be signal that she had found the backs we're looking for.
Oh, this is the first time I've met someone as creative with their words as I am. Have you ever considered a career in writing news headlines, Sino?
Oh no, don't enable him!
Okay, if we keep standing around talking like this, the package is going to be late. Listen to me. If they're the thieves, I'll lift one tail up and keep the other one down. If you see that, then you can come round them up.
You're not going to lay down?
No, I'm not laying down!
We're in the middle of nowhere, though. Are you sure this is the right place, Kirara?
Let's see. The address is approximately 100 paces down the road from Caravan Rebot towards the desert, near the first flaming flower.
That's the most suspicious address Paimon's ever heard.
Near the first flaming flower.
Huh? There aren't any houses around here.
Maybe the recipient planned on coming here to personally receive the package. I've had customers do that in the past. We're still a little early. And remember, watch my tails for the signal. The customer will be here soon, so be sure to stay out of sight.
We'll hide here. This spot is hidden, but with a clear view.
Paimon's sure this recipient's up to no good. Who'd pick up a package in a place like this?
I agree. But for the sake of her company's reputation, we'll let her tell us what to do. What? As in her tails?
Yeah, we get it. Hey, look! Someone's coming.
You from Komoni Express?
That's right. You must be Mr. Dada Baba?
Where's the package?
Yes, this is your package. Here you go. I recommend that you open it and confirm the contents. I've been running to many places the past few days through all sorts of weather. The contents may have shifted, so it's best to check that everything's intact.
No need. You haven't opened it to see what's inside, have you?
Of course not. That would be against our company policy. But if the contents are valuable, I would still recommend checking them first. If anything turns out to be damaged, I could compensate you now.
I said no need, didn't I? Why are you so persistent?
You know, boss, this little lady's out here all on her own.
We could use that to our advantage, you know.
Hey, you. Are you the only one delivering out here?
Yes, that's right. I wouldn't bring a bunch of people with me to deliver a package. I'm no good at lying, and I can't keep my tails from moving everywhere.
Look! She's giving a signal! But, wait. Paimon doesn't recognize that signal at all.
I nearly forgot. This just happens to be my 100th delivery. It's a really special moment for me. If you could let me know what I delivered, it would mean a lot to me.
Her tails are moving all over the place. Does she need us to step in or not?
Her tails keep moving and intertwining. They keep pointing in different directions. Maybe she's trying to say that she mixed up her directions. These people aren't the intended recipients.
Seriously? There's no way anyone could get all that just from her tails.
Something's not right. I can feel it. And you seem real concerned about this package, Missy.
Oh, no, that's just part of my job. We always care about the customer.
Come on, boss. Enough talk.
Yeah, nobody will ever know anything happened way out here.
Then do you have a moment to leave a 5-star review?
Sure. I'll leave a 5-star review after you're dead.
They got a knife! Forget the signals! We gotta save Kirara!
Boss, she's got backup.
What are you afraid of? Get him!
Huh? Wait, that's Sino! The General Mahamatra!
Sino?
Game's up. Fun's over. Quietly now. Gutsy.
Kirara, are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry.
Had I known you were here, we wouldn't have.
Too late for that. And I don't want to hear any whining from you two either. Clear?
Yes. Crystal clear.
General Mahamatra, I don't want to go to prison. Can't you just let us off this one time?
That depends on how honest you are.
We'll tell you everything.
What's inside the package?
Card backs. Genius Invocation TCG card backs that we collected from different nations.
Are they the kind with a treasure chest design on them?
Yeah, that's right. Wait, how'd you know that? We're just a group of treasure hoarders. That's all.
Some hoarders were getting fed up recently with just stealing small stuff. They wanted to,
Go on.
They wanted to pull off something big! You know, not just in one nation, all across Teyvat.
All across Teyvat?
Yeah, we were planning to steal prized treasures from different nations all at the same time. After pulling off a job like that, everyone would recognize us treasure hoarders as the most powerful organization across the world. But, seems like that's not gonna happen now.
So what does any of that have to do with these card backs?
Well, the problem was we didn't know how to communicate our master plan to all the other treasure hoarders. But with how popular Genius Invocation TCG has become recently, somebody suddenly came up with the idea to use cards as a way to communicate our plans without being detected.
So you were the ones who printed these card backs?
Yeah, because every treasure hoarder knows what to do once they see a treasure chest. First you bury it so no one else can take it, then just add a little bit of...
Hey, shut it! You're giving away all our plans.
It appears you consider this ridiculous plan of yours more valuable than your own life.
No, I'll talk. All you need to do is cover it with some wet dirt or sand, then wipe it off after a while. And it'll look like this.
My fellow hoarders, this is the big job we've all been waiting for. Take up your daggers, put on your masks, and round up your sumpter beasts. Oh, and for those of you without sumpter beasts... Seriously? That's all it says? Ugh.
Hey, what do you mean, waste? That message will mobilize the treasure hoarders.
He's right. The time and the other details are printed below that.
Not Paimon. Oh, there it is.
Objectively speaking, it's definitely a creative method of communicating information. But then why were you trying to retrieve these card backs?
It's all because some fellow hoarders got addicted to genius invocation. All they needed to do was stick to the plan, but they couldn't help themselves and started playing the game. Not only that, they were even using our card backs and showing them off. But that wasn't the worst of it. Some of them ended up losing our card backs to other players.
Ah, you were afraid that your plans would be exposed, so you dispatched members to quickly retrieve the card backs that had been scattered into the markets.
Not just the ones on the markets. We collected all our treasure chest card backs and we had them shipped back. We feared that our plans had already been discovered, so we were preparing to print another set of card backs. They would indicate a different time to initiate the operation, and we'd redistribute them. But to take every precaution, we raised funding for everyone to send us the backs via Komini Express. That way, we could guarantee the card backs would arrive safely and on time.
Huh? Oh, thanks for the compliments.
So the senders would stay at their original location to ensure that the operation could continue moving forward. Now that I think about it, that must be why the treasure hoarders came after the person who sold the card back in Mondstadt.
Oh, right! It's no wonder we were running into the treasure hoarders left and right. They wanted to be sure that anyone involved stayed quiet.
There! I told you everything I know. Hopefully that will help us make up for our mistakes. Please, Mahamatra Sino, show us mercy.
You'll each receive your due punishment. Enough talk. I've taken care of the criminals for now. I'll be escorting them back to Sumeru City shortly. I was only fulfilling my duty. You all did well.
Sino seems like a completely different person when he's working.
All right. Goodbye for now.
Oh, wait! I still want to interview the champion of the Sumeru Regional Tournament!
All right. Go ahead.
Tell me, Mr. Sino, what were your thoughts about the tournament? And did you have anything to say about the treasure hoarder incident?
Genius Invocation TCG is a very good game. But to me, it's not just a game. It's an art form. It allows people to meet others, make friends, and experience the joy of dueling together. I hope everyone can have the chance to experience the fun of playing this game.
Great answer. That'll be a perfect ending for my news piece.
Therefore, I assure you that I will personally bring judgment to any criminals out there with the delusions of desecrating this game with their evil plans. No matter where you run or where you hide, you will not escape the punishment of lightning.
Oh, I see. Let's stay calm, no need to get worked up. Now let me think. Not-so-genius thieves behind mysterious treasure chest card back plot finally...
Got decked?
Yes, that'll work nicely.
These two make quite the team when it comes to words.
If that's all, then I should get going. I'll inform the other areas not to be gamed by these thieving treasure hoarders. We will.
So in the end, it turned out that the group of card snatchers we were tracking was the treasure hoarders all along. Still feels a little disappointing, though. Paimon thought for sure those card backs would lead us to some valuable treasure.
Don't say that. Think of the bright side. We uncovered a major international crime scheme. Oh, I definitely have everything I need for my exclusive news piece.
If anything, Paimon regrets that we didn't get to see the mysterious inventors of Genius Invocation TCG.